Is where manga comes to talk. Thanks for joining. And we're just getting set up here. Welcome, everyone. Oh boy, we have so much to cover on the program today. So much to cover. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Yes, yes. Very exciting day. Very exciting day. No doubt about it. The magnets on these two mics attract. I got to keep them kind of far apart. There. Not pulling there. All right, there we go. Welcome, everyone. We will be live shortly. Well, the show will start. We're live now on YouTube, but I mean, the show will start shortly. Boy, oh boy, what a day. What are all these red cities people are always talking about? Where are all these red cities people are always talking about that supposedly are just filled with crime? Can anyone tell me? I keep hearing about all of them, but I don't see what they're talking about. Do you? Nope. They keep talking about these red cities. There's crime. Where are these red big cities that are filled with crime that's out of control, where they have no cash bail and the judges are letting the criminals go free? Where are these cities? What are they? Just another vacuous, stupid talking point that the left have. Mm-hmm. Memphis has a Democrat mayor. I just looked it up. A Democrat mayor in Memphis. Liberals and their stupid talking points that mean nothing, right? Just complete vacuous, stupid, idiotic talking points. That's all they got, man. That's all they got. And that's all they'll ever have. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great idea. Let me try that. Yeah, they can choose states with cities. They think a state that's red, they're responsible for, you know. Ah. Okay, there we go. Test 1, 2. Welcome. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Yeah, this shirt was sent to me by a listener. I got it last week. I showed it on the stream. It's an awesome shirt. I don't have to tuck it in. I don't know. I tucked it in, but I don't have to. I'm not sure if I should tuck it in or not. But it's a nice shirt. I like it. Thank you. What they've done on the left is they think because a state's Republican, they're responsible for the Democrat cities inside of it. Like here in Florida, we have so much crime in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a MAGA state, but Jacksonville's a Democrat city. You know, the things that liberals like that say in the chat, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just like a bunch of parrots repeating some garbage that someone said somewhere. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll take calls after the show starts. I'm not starting early today like I normally would because when I'm at the radio station, it's a little more difficult. Tomorrow I'll be back at my studio, so I'll start the show like 20 after 5. I don't know how an election would be a dictatorship, but whatever.
On the line, we're telling Steve Kane, if you're a Medicare recipient, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? If you're a Medicare recipient or about the church.
Happy MAGA Monday, yeah. Okay, test 1 2, test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Okay. Doing a mic check. Oh, we have so much to cover today. Why all the profanity? I don't get that. Why the profanity? Yes, good morning, everyone. We'll be live in about 7 minutes. The show will start in about 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. We'll be live on the air in a few minutes. I'm gonna start the show with the discussion in about 5 or 6 minutes. That's when the show starts. Hey, what's going on? All right. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to turn the hair down. There's a spot I'm going to send you for Tom Laporta. Would you be able to run it today if I sent it to you?
Should be able to.
Okay. I'll text it to you.
Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to run that one every hour instead of whatever else we're running. Could you forward that to Mike, or do you need me to?
No, send it to me. I'll forward it to Mike.
Okay, I just texted it to you. Don't delete the other spots. We're just going to run this one for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. If you're on hold, hang in there. The show has not even started yet, so.
Today there will be a chance of thunderstorms and then heavy rain with a high of 86 degrees. Wednesday evening, heavy rain and then a chance of thunderstorms with a low of 79 degrees. On Tuesday, a chance of thunderstorms and then thunderstorms with a high of 86 degrees. Tuesday night, thunderstorms and then showers likely with a low of 78 degrees.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
On I-95 northbound, a traffic crash at PGA Boulevard has now moved to the left shoulder. Watch for construction, Military Trail at Fifth Avenue North. I'm Ron Hudson with Radio 610 WYOB.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The fall show season paddock has dinner, drinks.
CG, here, Mike, it said, the traffic, it said 610 WIOD. Yeah.
Tribute on October 17th. Hear from My Horses, Toby Keith tribute on November 8th. Start Me Up, Rolling Stones tribute on November 14th. Comedian Jimmy Fallon on December 6th. Chris McDonald's Memories of Elvis, Merry Christmas Baby on December 12th. And Simply Tina Turner tribute on December 19th. For tickets and info, go to pbkennelclub.com.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now with Boca and any lab test now with Rolls Prices. Prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and go to any lab test now with Boca and any lab test now with Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now with Boca and any lab test now with Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Hello, this is get you deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the
Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Here we go. Showtime.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it sure is. Welcome one and all. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show. Oh man, we have so much to cover today. I'm going to get into this confrontation that President Trump had where he really dressed down this monster of a reporter who's a terrible person at NBC News. Also, we've got what I believe is probably one of the biggest stories ever, not just about, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. We have what is, in my opinion, not only maybe the biggest revelation we've ever heard about President Trump, but maybe about any president throughout history coming up. That is not an exaggeration. I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I want to talk about the U.S. Open. Any of you watched that yesterday? I watched the U.S. Open. I was in and out. I didn't watch it from beginning to end. And don't ask me what the names of those two guys, the guy from Spain that won and the Italian guy. But I watched the U.S. Open yesterday, and, you know, I don't even know if I've ever watched the U.S. Open in my life. I guess this comes with as you get older. I used to really be into tennis back in the days of McEnroe and Jimmy Connors. That was a long time ago. And elderly McEnroe was doing commentary yesterday. But what I would really like to know, and I looked for this morning, I was just looking a few minutes ago, and I've not been able to find this. What were the television ratings for the U.S. Open yesterday as compared to last year and the last several years? Because I'm imagining they had the highest ratings they've had in a long time because President Donald Trump was there. And not only that, yeah, just like when he was in the pace car at the Daytona 500. But the crowd went wild for President Trump. They loved President Trump at the U.S. Open, except Bruce Springsteen there was staying. I bet you Bruce Springsteen was probably having an emotional response. But when they sang the national anthem, did you guys see this? When they sang the national anthem at the U.S. Open yesterday, and the flag was coming out, our great flag, the crowd went nuts for President Trump when the camera went to him. The camera went to Trump. They put Trump up on the big screen. He was saluting because they're playing the national anthem, singing the national anthem, and the crowd just went nuts with support and love for Donald Trump. But how many of you tuned in to the U.S. Open yesterday, even if it was a few seconds, maybe for the first time in your life, or like me, I don't know if I've ever watched the U.S. Open before. I haven't watched tennis since I was like in middle school or high school. I really haven't. Venus and Serena Williams, when they came onto the scene, they were so nasty. People forget. They were like militant, angry, nasty people, and I stopped watching tennis, but I tuned in yesterday because our favorite president, Donald Trump, was there with Pam Bondi, and it was very exciting. So your thoughts on that? You know, anything President Trump does that involves something televised, the ratings typically go through the roof, and my guess is, since there were no stories about the ratings, I'm assuming the ratings were sky high through the roof because the president was there. Although I do think he was rooting for the Italian guy, not the Spaniard, just based on the expressions on his face at the end of the match and all that. But it looked like he was rooting for the Italian guy, to me. But it was great to see the president there with Pam Bondi, and it was awesome to see the crowd go nuts for Donald Trump. And, you know, and that's what the media can't understand. The Democrats can't understand. The majority of the American people love President Trump. You know, we've had the liberal fake news media and the Democrats for over 10 years now, since Trump came down the escalator, trashing him 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. and still he is more popular today than he has ever been. And his popularity is more diverse than it's ever been. It's absolutely amazing and quite stunning. It's amazing. They like to say we're in a cult. Please. They're in the cult. The cult's a tiny little thing. Now, before I get to what happened with this idiot reporter from NBC News, a major story dropped on Friday. And I covered this all weekend long on my podcast and my live streams and everything that I do all over the weekend. But the media, like that Ukrainian girl whose life was taken, we're going to get to that too later, but the media have completely covered up what is one of the biggest drops in the history of presidential news. And it happened live on CNN on Friday. In fact, when this story, I was watching President Trump's Oval Office press conference Friday afternoon when he was renaming the Defense Department the War Department, right? Any of you watched this? It was great. And then he had a thing about the hostages later, and that which we may get to today. Got so much to cover. But I'm watching that Oval Office press conference, and then I start getting in my feed on X over and over again, this clip that people are retweeting, reposting on X of Mike Johnson. And I don't know what's going on because I'm watching Trump. So I pull it up, and I was like, what? This is something we have never heard before. And I'm going to play it for you right now, and then we'll talk about it. What time? Yeah, we got time to do this before the break. Not only is this a major story, this is one of the biggest stories in the history of presidents. So let me pull this up. I don't usually play audio sound bites this early, but I'm going to today. And I know the audio quality on this is not all that great, and see it, but hey, listen, beggars can't be choosers. This is Mike Johnson. He's out in the hallway somewhere in the Congress, in the Capitol building, and he's being interviewed by this low-life CNN reporter, real scumbag CNN reporter, and he drops one of, if not the biggest story ever revealed about not just President Trump, but any president of the United States. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let me rewind it. Let me rewind it.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the woman who suffered these unspeakable harm. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago. Okay. So MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, just told this CNN reporter who, in the video, the CNN reporter who thinks he's in the business of reporting news and breaking news and investigating news, he gets this major story dropped on his lap live on his program, and he's ticked. What Mike Johnson said was, and this is something brand new that's been revealed, that President Trump was an undercover FBI informant working with the FBI to bring down Jeffrey Epstein. Holy smokes. Yeah, holy smokes. Never heard this before, right? Wait, this may be an explanation as to why President Trump is in some photographs with this monster, because he was running a sting operation, working with the feds as an undercover FBI informant. And this is major news. The media have covered this up. Now, I've been talking about this all weekend on my podcast, on my YouTube live streams, and I'm probably going to do this every day this week at some point because the media are covering this up. To my knowledge, now I know this is the first time on Friday when Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, dropped this. That was the first time this had been revealed to the public, that President Trump was an FBI informant working undercover
with the FBI to bring Jeffrey Epstein to justice. Never heard of that before. It's a huge story. The media are not reporting it. And, you know, out of everything we've ever learned and heard about President Trump, that is probably one of the biggest reveals. But I'll tell you, it's a major reveal so far as the history of all of our presidents. Do you know of any other president who was working undercover with the FBI to bring a criminal like Epstein to justice? It's never happened before, to my knowledge. This is the first time that something like that has ever happened. And that in itself makes it a major, major story. It's very, I mean, this is huge stuff. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Comey and all these people put the records of that in one of those burn bags that they destroy the evidence of. And I'm looking forward, I'm hoping at some point we'll get all the details from President Trump about this so we can find out the timeline and everything. Now, we knew that President Trump had kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago when he heard what he was about, then turned him into the local police because Epstein's lawyer said that recently. But President Trump working as an undercover FBI informant, working to bring down Epstein, that's the first we've ever heard of that, was Friday from MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and that is absolutely amazing. Now, today is Monday. It is My Pillow Monday. Oh, my goodness. You know, the free shipping offer is still in effect at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and there's incredible deals. In fact, there is an outlet sale going on right now. If you go to MyPillow.com, with our promo code Kane at checkout, you can save up to 80% off some of the most popular MyPillow items. That's right, up to 80% off some of the most popular MyPillow items with our promo code Kane at checkout. And you can, of course, use our promo code Kane on all the specials at MyPillow.com. My wife and I, we just ordered a new pet bed because we have, even though I'm allergic to cats, we have 4 cats because we have 3 of our own, and then one of my daughter's cats we have when she moved back to Florida. She kept one and we took one. So I have 4 cats. So we got a new MyPillow pet bed coming. That's incredible. And we used the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, to get a big discount on that. So, yes, it is My Pillow Monday. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. All right, we'll take our first break of the week and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio.
I guess they caught it before I even do it.
What?
It's the WIOD part.
Yeah, why does it do that?
I think they forget that there are multiple different stations, so they can't be saying.
IOD is pretty arrogant.
Yeah, yeah.
In the old days, IOD used to be the main station for the whole market for the emergency broadcast system. And we used to have to do, you don't have to do it anymore, but we used to have to do these emergency broadcast tests all the time during prime time hours, and it always came from IOD.
I was about to say, I would hear is it just that loud, like, alarm sound?
Yeah, they call it the EAS now, the Emergency Alert System.
I was about to say, they still do it, like, at, like, 9, like, not around 9-ish, 10 o'clock-ish.
At night? Oh, in the mornings?
In the mornings, I still
Yeah,
hear it. I'm like,
yeah,
what the heck?
yeah,
I just hear, I'm like, really?
yeah.
Laporta should play at the end of this.
Oh, great.
break. It's 2 commercials away. Actually,
I appreciate it.
should work, but I want to make sure.
Cheaper than anybody else, and he's excellent and no pay. I recommend this. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the Bus Driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Hi to all these listeners, it's Jupiter Joe here. Let's face it, times are tough. You've worked hard for your money, and now more than ever, you need to protect your money and make it last. Now is the time to review your 401k, IRA or money you want to protect or make safer, go to JupiterJoe.com. Let's talk about retirement or call 561-743-0999. Again, JupiterJoe.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Homeowners, condo associations.
That intro with his name is from a different commercial. There was a noise when he did the intro. I couldn't edit out, so I put two commercials together. So I'm glad you can. It's a little louder. Yeah. I don't think you'd notice if I didn't say, but it's two different. Yeah.
Insurance companies. We recently had a property management company call us to evaluate 2 multi-story condo buildings. Each were in aging condition. We performed a full evaluation, built a case with focused repairs and maintenance that the roofs had up to 5 years left. The insurance companies granted the associations additional time. Homeowners, condo, and HOA associations, give me a call at 954-604-4602 to set up an evaluation so we can help you with your insurance company. That number again is 954-604-4602 or find us at laportaroofing.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffer these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Wow. So there you have it. President Trump. I know, it's amazing. I tell you, he's not a mortal man. An undercover FBI informant working with the FBI to bring down Jeffrey Epstein. That is absolutely amazing and spectacular. And a 100% media cover-up. And it was live on CNN on Friday. And CNN is not even covering the news that broke on their own air. These are some really, really twisted people. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free. It is Monday morning. Can you believe already? Monday. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Okay, so President Trump got into this really a dress down of this very nasty reporter from NBC News. And, you know, the Democrats have gotten into this bizarro thing that they're doing where they're defending crime. They're defending criminals. They're defending drug traffickers. They're defending drug cartels. And it's bizarre to me. And this Yamamuchi, or whatever her name is, President Trump's at the White House. He's leaving the White House to go to the U.S. Open. And she asked, "Are you going to war with Chicago?" You know, what a dumb question that is. Chicago is under siege, right? It's under siege from just the worst types of criminals that you can be. Murderers, sex offenders, people, home invaders, everything. I mean, it's whatever major felony that gets you 20 years to life. It's a regular occurrence where it's not even hardly news in Chicago. And for some reason, they're angry at President Trump for wanting to stop crime. So here's President Trump. He's walking past the press, taking some questions on his way to Marine One. And this is when this NBC idiot asks her stupid question. Don't you love that? Be quiet. Listen. He told her to shut up.
Be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities.
We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what has happened to the Democrats? When did the Democrats start supporting this? I mean, it seems to me what they've turned this into, you know, when I hear these reporters, it seems to me what they've done is they've turned this into a civil rights issue. And what I mean by that is they act as if these murderers, rapists, carjackers, drug traffickers somehow have some civil right guaranteed to them by our Constitution to go out and commit these crimes. And here's President Trump. He's talking to these reporters about it. Listen to this. This is also out in front of the White House.
Why? Let me ask you. Yeah. Really higher than Chicago? Not.
See, they've got, you know, these liberal reporters are as dumb as these liberal idiots that call me, okay? They've got these talking points. Why aren't you going to the crime-filled red cities? What major red Republican city has all this inner city crime? Can you tell me? What city is that? A city that's run by Republicans. It's a red town. It's run by Republicans. It's a big city, and there's crime everywhere. Like Chicago or Baltimore. Where is this mythical Republican city?
Why? Let me ask you. Yeah. Really higher than Chicago? Not. Excuse me. Do you know how many people were killed in Chicago last weekend? 8. Do you know how many people were killed in Chicago the week before? 7. Do you know how many people were wounded? 74 people were wounded. You think there's worse than that? I don't think so.
Exactly. I mean, what's wrong with these people? This is just in complete, utter insanity that's going on with these Democrats, you know. And you know, I'm not saying that there are not cities. I'm not asking you for cities that are run by Republicans, although all the major cities are run by Democrats. Talking about a city that's a city, not a state, a city that's run by Republicans, that's overrun with crime, like in Chicago, like D.C. was, where they have no cash bail. The judges are letting the violent felons and killers and shooters and stuff out of jail with no bail and all that. Where is this city? They'll start naming a lot of towns. They're full of it. Like here in Florida, as an example. This state is as red and as MAGA as you can be. However, we still have some Democrat cities like Jacksonville. Remember last year I was almost killed on the streets of Jacksonville. I'll never go back to Jacksonville, Florida. That was the first time I'd been to Jacksonville since '88. And I didn't realize it until I was there. I stayed in the same hotel that I stayed in 1988. Can you believe it? I'll never go back to Jacksonville. I was almost killed in Jacksonville just over a year ago. That's how dangerous it is. I didn't realize, hey, I'm in Florida, but Jacksonville is not like the rest of Florida. But I want to know where this mythical Republican-run city, you've got a Republican mayor, a Republican city council, a Republican police chief, where crime is out of control, with Republican judges with no cash bail, where they're letting violent felons out of jail. Can you tell me where this Republican city is? Yeah, exactly. Because we don't put up with this garbage. But somehow, the Democrats have become advocates for all of this. Now, listen, guys, if you'd like to join us on our 10th annual MAGA cruise, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Oh, man. We're going to have a great time, and Ian and I have been planning some things that we have never done before. We have, of course, and I got to touch base with Ian because there's one particular shore excursion that's going to be one that you will remember for the rest of your life, but we haven't been able to announce it yet. I got to find out if we can announce it yet. But we've got things going on board the ship on our sea days like we've never done before. Ian told me last week, this is going to be our largest group yet, and I'm very excited about it. Give Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot a call. Join us on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise, myself, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. All right. Boy, oh boy, guys, I tell you. What a great day. I'm checking my text and DMs.
Talked to Vic on Friday about the 96.9 signal.
Yeah.
He said it should be back up sometime this
Week.
but he said, like the Alexa should still work, just to listen to a different signal.
It wasn't on Tuesday and Wednesday, but it maybe, you know.
I told him, because I said someone brought up Alexa. He goes, no, Alexa should still work, just not the 96.9 signal. But if you say
I think it was connected to the 90s, because I listened. I did. But that, you know what? Anything that's online is not consistent. They always go out all the time, so it could have just been a coincidence. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking it probably
Yeah. It just was a coincidence.
It had to be, because he said that shouldn't have messed with the Alexa.
Yeah,
So
just a coincidence, because those go down from time to time. That's why I don't pay much, when people tell me those are down, I don't pay much attention to it, because they usually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Both, yeah, I could definitely see.
Like
that.
sometimes,
Listen to that one,
like sometimes I'll upload my podcast to the podcast platforms.
Yeah.
It'll go up in 30 seconds on every one, but sometimes it'll take 3 hours. You know what I mean? So it depends on how much.
Like it's
I don't know what it depends on, but
technology.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, he said it should be up.
The news station.
Pretty much because of the rain and the storms lately, they couldn't switch it, so that's why it's still lapping over each other. But once like they get a good day, they'll be able. But they just had to do it. They couldn't wait longer. So
Yeah.
They just started it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it should be up.
You don't know the signal, do you? Did he tell you the signal? The dial position?
That's a good question.
Don't know yet.
I don't want to say something and then be wrong.
Yeah.
So I honestly probably don't know yet. But all I know is it's going down all the way past Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a stronger signal.
Yeah.
Rate in 40 years. You need a plan of action for your retirement plans. You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing money. Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors, South Florida's premier retirement experts, and has been for over 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. They're family owned and operated. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Oldies. He's the host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show, and he's been doing that for over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. Take advantage of his free phone consultation too. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes in himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. And I've spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Wow, there you got it. You know, and some of you this story that dropped on Friday that President Trump was an FBI informant working undercover with the FBI to bring down Jeffrey Epstein. And, I've heard Michael Savage talk about this over the years, and as much as we have all this new media, for so many people, until it's on TV, it's like it's not real, right? And a lot of times you'll be ahead of a story before it's on TV, and people aren't interested in it until it's on TV. So, don't let yourself think that TV doesn't matter anymore, okay? Just because you don't watch it doesn't mean a lot of people don't. But this story, without question, about Trump being an FBI informant, do you know of another president that worked undercover as an FBI informant to bring down a major criminal? Do you know of one? I don't. You know why? Because there isn't one. That is absolutely just amazing to me. All right, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Richie.
Great weekend. Listen, here's the deal about you asked about one Republican city. You were talking about Chicago, and you know what came to my mind? There's a city that the people couldn't even get out of their cars and go to a mall because of shootouts and robberies. That was basically Republican, and the news was carrying it, and then they dropped it all of a sudden. That's the city of Atlanta, that the suburb of Buckhead. I know you know Buckhead, which is an affluent area outside of the city. Well, it's considered part of the city. The city of Atlanta, they don't arrest anybody. They let everybody do what the hell they want. The people of Buckhead, and then they drive all the way to
Buckhead. Wait, I'm very confused. There's a Republican city that has out-of-control crime like Chicago with no cash bail, and the judges let the bad guys go. I'm a little confused.
All right, the people in Buckhead wanted to secede from the city of Atlanta.
Yes.
Let them go.
Yes.
Get the hell away from these Democratic-run mayor of Atlanta who's let crime go nuts. So that because they can't even go shopping in their mall. It's like your mall in Boca, the town center. Can you imagine if you couldn't go in there because of the thugs?
Well, there was a serial killer for a couple years back. That was, yeah.
Okay, now the reason why they're going crazy in Chicago is because President Trump is the ultimate troller. He trolled them with that.
By the way, remember that Boca Town Center Mall serial killer? There was a serial killer at the Boca Town Center Mall years ago, and I had a theory. I followed that case. I had a theory that I ran by, I don't want to say who, but it was somebody connected to the investigation. And my theory that I had was their working theory, at least at the time. I told them it was a pretty interesting theory. But anyway, no, the reality of the situation is this, okay? There are no Republican-run, first of all, there are no Republican-run major metropolitan cities like Chicago, New York, or Baltimore. They're all Democrat throughout the country, okay? And any place that Republicans run, where Republicans run, Buckhead doesn't count because it's part of the Atlanta, okay? So there's not the place just doesn't exist, and the reason it doesn't exist is because we're smart enough as Republicans, one, not to live where crime is, and if there is, we rat them out. We call 911 and get them arrested, and we don't put up with it. If there were Republican cities overrun with violent crime, okay, we would want Trump to come in, and I'd want him to come in my town and rid it of crime. Why not? Who would be against that?
So would I. They actually, but the reason they're going crazy is because, first of all, they're looking for anything to go against Trump. But Trump actually put that picture of himself as a Union soldier, the Department of Defense will be the Department of War. You saw that, and we're coming to Chicago for you. And he was trolling them because he knows. Listen, every normal person says, "Hey, you got to clean this stuff up. People can't walk in the streets. They're not safe in the neighborhoods. except now he's got them defending these people. He's so smart. He makes them go out of their way to, they hate him so much, Brian, that this guy says I could cure cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Would be against that too. It's just totally crazy.
I mean, how can you, when you've got a guy, listen, President Trump rid Washington, D.C. of the major crime wave. That doesn't mean there's no crime or there'll never be a crime again, but the crime wave is under control. So, you know, he's going to do this in other cities. And you know, that's just the way it is, okay, guys? I'm sorry to tell you. And if Democrats are going to advocate for criminals and drug cartels, let them. Let them.
It's such a losing thing they're going against. And I mean, it's total nuts. I mean, it's total losing. It's everything they do, they seem to go for the wrong people. And not for nothing. They go for criminals. They go, and they're against Alcatraz. They're against everything that he's doing to try to deport illegal people here that have caused problems.
Yeah.
Tom Homan. They have Tom Homan on that guy on I forgot his name now. Tom Homan was in the beauty, and he was asked, "Is President Trump going to war against Chicago?" He said, "We're going to war against people that are drug traffickers, people that have killed people." I mean, and this is really unbelievable.
It's what Chicago is the wild, wild west. It is.
More than that. It's more than that. The South Side. My friend went to a ball game, and the South Side with the Chicago White Sox. And a couple of years ago, he was told it's very unsafe to get out of your car to go to a baseball game in the parking lot of the stadium.
That's right.
He had said.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting, man.
It is. It is.
Disgusting.
All right, Richie, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. All right, so now there's a couple other things. Let me pull this other clip up if I have it queued up. Okay. This is amazing. Did you see, there it is. Okay. Did you see this Hyundai plant in Georgia that got raided by ICE? Oh, listen to this. This is amazing. The woman who actually alerted ICE of the illegal, and this Hyundai plant was an EV plant. And were they arrested 450? You know what that is, by the way? 450 jobs created by Tom Homan, ICE, Kristi Noem, President Trump in Georgia. The woman that alerted ICE about the illegals at that factory, she did something crazy. She made a video talking about it and posted it online. I'm going to play it for you. So this is the actual woman who turned them in. This blew me away, and she gives a lot of detail. Listen.
152 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. Modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're going to get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad conditions, very inhumane, and the Biden administration started a humanitarian crisis. So y'all can't just look at it like they're ripping good people off the job. They're probably saving their lives in the long run.
Yeah, in fact, what that was at the rate, what ICE did at that Hyundai factory in Georgia was a liberation of people that were being held in slavery. As crazy as it sounds, this is the woman who turned them in. She saw what was going on there and alerted ICE. No one suspected it, I guess, because it was a high-tech Hyundai factory with the EVs and all that. So they've been liberated from slavery. Now, there's been some updates which are a little confusing, but a few hundred people detained were Koreans, South Koreans. And the Trump administration, pretty ticked off at Korea, contacted Korea. And Korea, I think it's going to be today, sometime this week, Korea is chartering a aircraft to fly the Koreans back to Korea. So they didn't just get the illegals that were working there. They ICE also snatched up the supervisors at the factory, the Korean supervisors at the Hyundai plant, who were responsible for the illegals working there and the slave conditions, and they're all being deported. I mean, like instantly. And Korea is cooperating and flying them back home. I don't know why they're cooperating so quick, if it's the tariffs or something, but they're doing it. So I'm unclear, and there hasn't been a lot of reporting on the detail. You know, reporters suck today. They don't investigate. They don't get any information. So I'm unclear if the 450, if that includes the 400 about Koreans that are, so were those illegal Koreans? I don't know. But I do know this, they're going back to wherever they came from. That's right. All right, our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to remind you guys that it is, can you believe it already? It is Monday, and it's My Pillow Monday today because there is an incredible deal. There's all kinds of specials always at mypillow.com, but right now you can save up to 80% with our promo code Kane on their outlet sale on some of the most popular MyPillow products, up to 80%. Plus, the free shipping offer is still in place with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. And I was telling you guys earlier, my wife and I, we ordered a new pet bed, because we got all these cats now. And the MyPillow pet beds are the best pet beds you've ever had. They have the same patented fill as the MyPillows, and you can wash the whole pet bed inside and out. You just throw the whole thing in the wash and then in the dryer, and it's like new. Because I don't care how clean your pets are, they're still animals, and get all that dander and all that filth from the animals off of the pet beds. I've had every pet bed there is. None of them could you wash like this. Inside and out. All the other pet beds I've had have that foam inside. You can't wash the foam inside those other pet beds. But since the MyPillow pet bed, you can wash the whole thing inside and out and dry it. It's like new every time. Keeps the pet beds clean. They last for years and years and years. There's a huge deal on those as well. So go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout. The free shipping offer in effect. And again, you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
Hard truth.
Checkout, not at mypillow.com. Right now, enjoy free shipping on orders $100 or more when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. This is your chance to stock up on unbeatable deals on everything site-wide. Soft sheets, cozy slippers, plush bathrobes, mattresses, mattress toppers, pet beds. It's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. Order now at mypillow.com and use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, for free shipping.
This is Steve Kane. Medicare can be confusing. That's why.
Yep. Oh, what an exciting day, guys. What an exciting day. If you're on hold, hang in there. I know, it's hard to believe it's Monday. Did you guys check out my vlog of my behind the scenes of my Newsmax appearances this weekend? I hope you did. It's on the channel. Make sure you check it out.
I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me, and we went over everything, and I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now
All righty, we're back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, Michael. What's on your mind?
I was just listening to what you were saying about, well, why do you think they would wait this long to say that Trump was an FBI informant if that was the case? Why would...
I didn't hear the beginning of your statement. What'd you say?
If Trump was an FBI informant, why would they wait until right now to say so? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, who knows? There could be all kinds of reasons. First of all, he was a confidential informant. That means like undercover. And maybe President Trump didn't want it out there that he was working undercover with the feds back then, for whatever reason.
Okay, fair point. Also, just recently he called it a hoax. How could you be an FBI informant to something you're also claiming is a hoax?
He didn't say that the Epstein thing was a hoax. Now, you know, I understand you're a Democrat, right? And you live in Orlando, which is Oh, really? What are you then? What are you?
I use my brain and think for myself.
Oh, okay, you're an independent. Who'd you vote for in the last presidential election?
To be honest with you, I did not vote in this past.
You didn't vote. Okay, what about the one before that? Who'd you vote for in 2020?
The one before that one, I voted for Biden. And
You voted for Biden. Okay, so you voted for Biden. Okay. You went from Trump to Biden. That's bizarre. So you voted for Trump in 2016, and then 4 years later you voted for Biden. Explain that to me.
Well, Hillary was a horrible option, so I figured Trump would be better. Trump gets in there, and what happened? Okay, whatever. You know what? Actually, you're not even worth arguing.
Oh, so you don't know. So you don't even know. You don't even know. Okay, now that. Okay, all right. That's what I figured. You know, he lied. Do you think that? Listen. There are a lot of people who go from being a Democrat to a Republican. Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump, and others. You can do that. To go the other way, it's like impossible. Okay? It's impossible. And you know that inarticulate guy, do you know that was the 6th time he's called in this hour? 6 times he called. That was his 6th call. He didn't get on before, but he kept hanging up and calling back, 6 times. And that's all he had? See, this is what I was talking about. See, you can be in a red state, okay, like this, and have blue cities. He's calling from Orlando, which is a very blue city, sanctuary city. Yeah, it's impossible to go from being a Republican to a Democrat because the moral difference between the two. The Democrats are atheists, godless people who support abortion on demand, support open borders. They advocate for drug traffickers and violent criminals in our most violent cities. So, and there's other reasons too. They support taxation as much as possible. Republicans are completely opposed to that. So, how can you be on one side and go to the other? The reason that you can go from being, no more calls from you, and it's 1 call per day. You blew your chance, okay? You can go from that juvenile thinking, that corrupt thinking that the Democrats have, to being a Republican, because being a Republican and having that viewpoint, if you used to be a Democrat, is just part of the maturity process. It's just part of growing up. But you can't go from being a conservative to a liberal Democrat. There's just no way. It's impossible. The moral, when you're young and you don't know what's going on, you may not understand that it's a baby in the womb. You may not understand the problems with taxing people for their hard work and all this stuff. I can make a list. I don't have to. You understand. And you grow up and you get a little informed. You get out in the real world. You're working. You're paying bills. You're paying taxes. And then you see, oh, right. But to go the other way, the only way you could go backwards is if you were never a Republican in the first place, or you had a head injury, a major head trauma, and then you could go back the other way, okay? But, this story of President Trump being an undercover FBI informant to take down Epstein, why he's kept that a secret so long, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, he's got a lot of integrity. I wouldn't have been able to keep it a secret. The terrible things these weirdos have been saying about him all this time, and he's kept this a secret. Would you have been able to do that? I wouldn't have been able to do that. A couple other things I want to mention before we take the top of the hour break, and then I'll get into some other things, and then I will be recapping the undercover FBI story throughout the show, because no one in the media is covering it, so I feel obligated to cover it. But just real briefly, the dad with the baseball, with the Karen, okay, over the weekend, did you see that video? That is the wimpiest dad I've ever seen in my life. And I know he gave an interview and he said, oh, he just wanted to de-escalate. Let me tell you something. I would have stood my ground. They never would have gotten that baseball away from my kid. Never would have happened. That thing that happened at the tennis match a couple weeks ago, that guy took it from the kid's hand. He took it from a kid's hand. And you've seen this baseball incident countless times because they reran it all weekend. The ball was on the floor in the stands. He reached down and got it. He didn't take it from that lady's hand. And that Karen walked over there making all kinds of demands. I just said, get out of my face. And he took it from his kid. And let me tell you, that dad, I don't care what he said. Oh, I was trying to de-escalate. He humiliated his son. And that wimpy dad, is that what it's like for guys that age that have kids now? Are they a bunch of wimps? That child and that son and that father, they're going to have a lot of problems throughout the rest of their life, because that dad was a wimp, and he wimped out in front of his boy. He humiliated his son. Now, and he's going to know it. You know why? Because all his friends are going to tell him the rest of the time he's in school what a wimp his dad is. And he's going to grow up embarrassed by his father because his father acted like a woman. Acted like some snowflake soy boy, girly man, as opposed to a real guy standing up for his kid. I've never seen anything like that before from a father. I've seen lunatics like this lady make all kinds of demands and get crazy out in public. And what kind of person is she? Take that baseball from a child? Who would do something like that? But I guess that's how men are these days that are of that age to have kids. He looked a little older, though, to me. He looked a little on the old side to have children that age. But there's no doubt in my mind that dad and that son are going to have problems for the rest of their lives, because You know, he had a moment to stand up for his son, and he didn't. He caved to some Karen, and he humiliated his son. You know, it seems like a minor thing, right? But it's a real statement on what the left have done in our society to men. It really, truly is. You know, they have, I gotta be, what words I use on they've wimpified men. They really, truly have. That was a soy man. You know, and anybody out there who has children, you have moments that are very important with your children. And something like that, that's a moment that your child will never, ever forget. That boy is going to be scarred by that. He may not know it yet, but he will. And you know, throughout his life, when he starts dating, whoever he dates or wherever everybody Googles everybody, and they're going to see that he's the son of the wimp. You know, that dad, when he didn't stand his ground for his son, has set his son up for a life of humiliation and failure and relationship dysfunction. And you may think I'm blowing it out of proportion, especially today, where an incident like this goes viral, that's going to follow that child forever and ever. I feel so sorry for that boy. And his wimpy dad. What an embarrassment to American dads everywhere. Now, if he would have taken the baseball from the woman's hand or glove or knocked her down to get it, it was on the floor in the stands. He reached down and got it. That's how it works. He would have been the dad of the year if he'd have told that woman to go blank herself and get out of his face. But he handled it like a soy boy. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. Yeah, I couldn't get him on Friday. I had the same problem. I talked to him after. It went, I can't remember what it did, but I had the same problem you had. I couldn't get him.
Yeah, I remember it was just you trying to, was it just a dead line? Like
I can't remember what it did, but I told him it was almost like there was a block.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like nothing was happening at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So we might have to try it in there again, but if it doesn't work, we'll do it in here. I don't know why it's doing that, and he doesn't either. So.
Yeah, we'll try again today.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to that break.
Yeah.
Is your money's never at risk, you're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Get Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, see you, Brian.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompadour. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Dwayne Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. You know that guy, Mike, they called the guy that said he was from Orlando? You know, he's called it, I just looked during the break. He's called at least 30 times in the last hour, at least. Now, I know that's not a record. It's one call per day, 30 times, you know. That's a person who's questioning the integrity of Mike Johnson and Donald Trump. Some unhinged loon who's called a minimum of 30 times in the last hour. There's a lot of mental illness in the Democrat side of things, isn't there? My goodness. 30 times. What do you think's going to, you know, think you're going to get on the air? All right, 1-888-465-2631. Now, of course, the Democrat, if you're on hold, hang in there. Now, the Democrats have been supporting all of this crime lately, which is just insane. And have you seen the story of this Ukrainian girl? Oh my goodness. It's just so sad. President Trump, I'll get into a little detail of it. Here's President Trump. He was asked about it boarding Air Force One yesterday. Okay, he's going to get briefed on it. And I've watched some of the video, but I can't. It's just I don't need to see it. It's too horrific. If you're not familiar with it, it was in North Carolina, a young woman, a Ukrainian refugee. She gets on a train, I don't know, just by herself. She sits down. And a guy behind her murdered her, took out a knife and killed her for nothing. They never knew each other, nothing. And this happened in August. The video just dropped within the last few days. And the mainstream media, including the Associated Press, now that was as of early this morning. This could change any minute because it's been going viral all weekend long. No mainstream media outlet, including the AP, have covered the story. And a lot of people are saying, well, the guy's a mental patient. I've got news for you. 99.99% of people who murder people are mentally ill. That's okay? That's it. You know, the reason the insanity defense is a very difficult defense is not because it's hard to prove someone's insane. You have to be able to prove that not only are they crazy and have mental problems, but they did not know that what they were doing was wrong. And that's the part you can't prove, because even though they're lunatics, sane people don't murder other people, especially in a situation like this. I mean, if you have to defend your life, hopefully this never happens to anybody, but if you have to take somebody out defending your life, that's different. This girl was just sitting there, scrolling through her phone, And this monster behind her took his knife and killed her. So why the media are covering this up is the question, right? And it's obvious. She's white, he's black. That's it. And, you know, I've been paying if you're on hold, hang in there. I'll get to some calls. If you're that guy that's called over 30 times, forget about it. I'm not talking to you. I don't know if I'll ever talk to him again. He's so out of control. So the media have completely blacked this story out, like President Trump is an FBI undercover informant, right? The same media that wear their Ukrainian flags on their lapels, the same media that praise Zelensky, the same media that have Ukrainian bumper stickers on their car. This young woman is a Ukrainian refugee fleeing the Russian invasion. She would have been safer in Ukraine. She was murdered by this monster, and they don't want to cover it. And I've been, in the last couple of weeks since President Trump began that operation in Washington, D.C., I've been listening very carefully to Democrats. And I realized something about Democrats. Why are they so soft on crime in these blue cities? Why are they so soft on crime in these blue cities? And I've started to realize this. You know, a lot of now this instance is black on white with the girl because she's Ukrainian. But when you look at Chicago, most of the crime is black on black, black on Hispanic, Hispanic on black, because it's a majority minority city. So why are they so soft on crime when even other, minorities are the victims of it? And I realized a couple of things. But one of them I realized is they don't like to arrest black people because they think putting them in jail is like putting them on an antebellum plantation. It's like putting them back in slavery. I've been listening to these Democrats the last 2 or 3 weeks, and they're out of their mind. And as I listen to them carefully, that's what I'm starting to feel from them. Doesn't it seem that way to you? And when this poor white girl was murdered by this monster, okay, I think liberals believe it's almost like justifiable homicide that somebody who's African American has an anger issue towards white people, even though she's Ukrainian, a Ukrainian refugee. She certainly has no connection to the slavery of the past that I have no connection to either, or any of you, but they feel it is justifiable homicide, and they don't want it out there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
All right, Sandra. What's up?
I'm just really happy that you're covering that story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because nobody else will cover it. Maybe you're probably one of the very few sources that's covering it. And I saw some of the video, obviously not all of it, but the guy seemed very agitated as she sat. She sat in front of him. You can tell that he was about to explode, actually, pretty much, that he was probably, you could just tell by the expression.
I'll tell you what, this is how I took it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think he just is in a rage towards white people. And this white person sat down in front of him and he just lost it. I think it was a racial killing.
It could have been. I agree with that too. I don't understand how a person can be arrested 14 times and is allowed to walk the streets. I mean, what are they, Democratic judges? I don't know.
Of course.
And,
here in Florida, and this is something I wish they would change. Here in Florida, when judges are up for election, they don't have party affiliation next to judges on the ballots. I would never vote for a Democrat for judge, ever. If I knew, you got to do some research, to know when you go in to vote.
14 times, Brian.
Yeah, Democrats are, look, they don't want Trump to end crime in D.C., Baltimore, Chicago. They're pro-criminal. That's why. And yeah. I mean, and listen. Anytime look at all the coverage Trayvon got with Zimmerman. See, they didn't know Zimmerman was Hispanic. They knew the name. They figured he was white, Jewish. They didn't know if they knew he was Hispanic, we probably never would have heard of Trayvon. But we did. Look at George Floyd. These incidents, they get so much publicity. Racial reverse, media blackout.
Well, thank God for social media, because it's all over TikTok.
And now Trump's going to be all over it because he said, I'll know all about it by tomorrow morning. He's going to get briefed. So he's going to be all over that.
I pray for her family because I can't even imagine what they must be going through right now.
Well, look, she's a Ukrainian refugee. She fled Ukraine. She'd probably be alive if she was in Ukraine, right? And all these liberals that won't cover the story are the ones they got the Ukrainian flags on their clothes all the time. And you get a Ukrainian refugee murdered, and they don't want to report it.
I was going to say, where are they? Where are they with all their flags and all their support and all, where are they with this story?
Exactly.
Nowhere to be found.
They're disgusting. The media are disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing that was so heinous, how can you not report it?
And by the way, we're talking about how we don't put up with crime. You're in Boca. I was talking earlier when we had that serial killer at the Boca Town Center Mall. Our town was all over that. And you haven't seen anything like that happen since, have you? Because we don't put up with it. And every time, if you're a Boca person, you go to the Boca Town Center Mall, you're always on alert. We don't put up with it. We have a crime in our town. We eradicate it. We don't put up with it. This isn't Chicago.
Off the train like nothing happened.
Oh yeah, heartless. That guy's had to have killed before. It was too casual about it. And I don't want anybody to tell me mental illness. All murderers are mentally ill. It's just a matter of what degree. Sane people don't take other people's lives for no reason like that. I believe it was a racially targeted hate crime. And the left have jazzed up the minorities so much to hate white people. That's how things like that happen.
Well, something, and this could be just a side note, she also was very beautiful. And I think he could just have also a hatred for women as well. That could have been.
She was, and I'll tell you, I don't know too much about all of her background, but she was not. There's photographs of her like the Instagram posing pictures, but when she got on the train, she was dressed down. She had a baseball cap on, if I remember correctly. She wasn't all decked out. She wasn't. You know what I mean? She was, and I wonder. We'll never know because she was killed, but. I'd like to know if she dressed down that way for protection, that maybe it's so dangerous in that town in North Carolina. I don't know.
Well, something? It's come to a point, Brian, where phones are the major distraction of our protection. And it's nobody's fault. I mean, we have phones, and this is the way it is, and this is where our society has become. But even that girl who took the wrong Uber that was murdered, do you remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, guess what she was doing when she got into that car?
Exactly.
She was just strictly looking at her phone and not paying attention. Same thing. She went in. That's the first thing they do. Look at their phone. So there's no, you got to send a message out there to women, really everybody, that when you get on a train or you get on somewhere, look around you before you sit down.
Public transportation's dangerous, okay? I talk about sometimes how when I was young, before I had a car, I used to ride Richie the bus driver's bus. Richie doesn't remember me from back then, but he had a big mouth for a bus driver, just like he does today. That's why I remember. But I was on his bus once, and there was a guy sitting there. He was talking to my friend and I. We were coming back from the movies, and he had a pistol in his pants. He showed us the pistol. And I was like in middle school, high school, I can't remember, it was a long time, and I was on Richie's bus. Public transportation I made a big mistake once. When my daughter was about a 12-ish, I said, hey, let's go to Miami, but let's take the Tri-Rail and the Metro Mover. When I take the Tri-Rail I've taken it many times, and if you're in Broward or Palm Beach, it's great. When you cross in to Dade County on the Tri-Rail, it's like you're in a third world country. It's like people are getting on with farm animals. And I remember we got on the Metro Rail in Miami. There was a guy sitting there in women's lingerie with no underwear on across on this. I mean, my goodness, it was free, and I was stuck on the train. So I ended up, I had to go all the way to Bayside and get back. It was a mess. Public transportation is where the mentally ill in this country get around in. And it's you never know who you're on there with. It's very dangerous. It used to be the drunk drivers. They got now all the drunk drivers have e-bikes. The people on public transportation are people like that, very dangerous people. All right, I got to run. Appreciate the call. Those of you who want to hold, stand by. I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. Did any of you catch me? I was on Newsmax twice over the weekend. I was on 2 shows back to back. I don't know if you guys got that. It was crazy. And anytime I'm on, one of the appearances was live. I was on live, and then the second one was pre-recorded. And anytime I'm on television, right after or during, my phone blows up with people. And I hear from people that have not seen me in a while sometimes years, months, weeks. And the common thing I get from people that see me on TV that I haven't talked to in a long time is, man, Brian, you lost so much weight. Yeah, that's right, thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I could see it when I see myself on television adds weight to you, right? So even on television, that adds weight to you, because I guess the dimensions of the TV, I could tell I got my chin back. Before my face was very round. I didn't realize, when you see yourself every day and you're gaining weight, it's gradual. You don't notice. And my face was so round, and I've got my bone structure back, got my chin back, got my neck back, my stomach's flat. I've lost all this weight, and my results are typical. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Callers on hold, stand by. Back with your calls after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air.
And they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. It's where the West Relief is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. You know, I don't want to take responsibility away from the murderer. However, women should not be traveling alone. You know, Sydney Sweeney's bringing jeans back. Maybe when women stop wearing these sprayed-on yoga pants, that'll help. But I don't want to blame women, but you cannot travel alone. Talked about this a lot. There was a documentary on Netflix about Ted Bundy. And they had one of these criminologists, sociologists, I don't know, one of these PhDs that have studied criminals, and there was a big rise in serial killers murdering women in the 70s. And what they determined through their research was it was feminism, because for the first time, women were walking around without an escort, without a chaperone, plus wearing miniskirts, which were the yoga pants of the day. But because women were going around unescorted. That's what happens. Before I go back to the phones, I just saw this on X this morning. It's a woman, 20s, early 30s, and it fits into this Ukrainian refugee. She just got off the subway train in New York. Listen to her story.
I don't even know what to say at this point. I had to get off the train, past my stop, because there was a guy who was following me from car to car. And when I tried to get off at my stop, which was pitch dark, he held it open to see if I was going to get off. So I had to get off the stop after. And then when I got off the stop after, I hopped on the next train that was going the other direction. And I got on an express train. And I was back on the other side of the track. Hold on. New York City is not safe. It's not safe for women. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, women cannot travel alone, especially on public transportation, okay? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is James from Vero Beach.
Hey, James, what's up?
Hey, listen, just so you know, I'm a first-time caller. I've been listening to you for 2 years, and I just want to congratulate you on your work. I find you very impressive. You really stand out, and you shine, and you really support Trump, and we need you out there.
Well, thank you.
I really want to see you replace Rush Limbaugh. I believe that's how good you are. I truly believe.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And things that are going on in Washington, you know, just like the incident with the woman talking about Chicago, Trump needs to continue doing what he's doing. Just forge forward and start blasting the media. He needs to really crack down and let people know, listen, I'm only here temporarily. I'm not here forever. I'm just trying to help the United States to be a better place.
Yeah, well, you know what Trump is doing is a reset of everything in this country, is what it is. It's a national reset back to reality and normalcy, you know, normalcy, whatever the word is, you know. But this, you know, this media blackout of this woman murdered by this monster on the train in North Carolina, I mean, you know, it's so sick and disgusting. When the Democrats have always been wrong on every issue, but to be this out of the closet in support of criminals, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing that people just cannot grab him and support him. I mean, we need this man. He's been just amazing, and I'm actually glad that there was a point where he was out of office and now he's returned, and he's realizing, like, hey, listen, I've got to correct this now, because if it's not taken in control, what are we going to do? Like, it's just, man, it's just amazing, and I love the fact that you're out there every day. I swear, you are the best thing that we need for America. And so, listen, there are people that do love you, and we support you 12%. And I personally want to thank you.
Well, thank you for listening up in Vero. I appreciate that. You listen to us on the radio in Vero?
We watch you on YouTube.
Oh, watch me on YouTube. Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I listen to you on YouTube in my vehicle, and I listen to you every day. And you're so addictive that I have to listen to you, because the media, you know, even with Fox News, everybody knows that all of us Republicans we don't watch Fox News because it's so slanted. So
Mm-hmm.
I hate when the left always says, "Oh, you always watch Fox News." No, we don't. We listen to a lot of people on YouTube and other sources, and so what you're doing is amazing, and you are setting yourself up for life. You are going to prepare yourself, and I'm telling you, you are moving so fast that you're going to see things within the next year. There's going to be people approaching you to invest into you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Take care. All right. Yeah. And by the way, you guys, if you don't follow me on YouTube, you should. You can. By the way, I put up a video yesterday. I'm on YouTube all the time, guys. I mean, like, it's crazy how much I'm doing podcasts and shows, and I take calls like I do here on YouTube. But I made a behind-the-scenes video of me being a pundit on television from over the weekend, and you get to see the behind-the-scenes on what goes into being a talking head. It's on my YouTube channel. Check it out. Let's see here. I'm going to try to take these in the order in which they were received. I know we're late for a break. I'm going to take one call before the break, Mike, because I went long. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Gianna. I'm calling from Sebring, Florida.
Oh, my goodness. Sebring. Wow. I forgot about Sebring. I don't think I've gotten a call ever from Sebring. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I've only been here a couple of months, but I've lived in South Florida, like Coconut Creek, for about 15 years. And that's where I found your show.
Oh, okay.
Toward the end of your Periscope days.
Oh, yes.
Did that. So it's been like, 8 years or so?
At least. Yeah, Periscope, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But I wanted to tell you, I've never called in before, but I watch you on YouTube almost every morning. And I really love that the YouTube you did over the weekend with the behind the scenes for the Newsmax.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you, you look so handsome.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to tell you that. And you do a great job. And I just love listening to you.
Oh, man, I tell you.
Really, really handsome.
All these compliments I'm getting today. Oh, my goodness. This is great. I'm not used to, I'm getting uncomfortable. 2 calls complimenting me in a row. I'm used to hearing people tell me, you're defending a pedo or something. You know, to get all this is overwhelming.
Yes, ignore them. Ignore those calls because, the majority, just like Trump, the majority loves you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that from Sebring. All right, take care. All right. Well, you know what? If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast. And now, a True Oldies traffic check.
They've been good so far without saying it again, so let's see if they kept it that way this time.
Oh, the traffic?
Yeah.
Let me see how they ended it.
We have a crash just reported Military Trail north of Belvedere
It's
Road.
funny they fixed it
Spots
before I
open
could
on the road.
take it
Call
out.
the traffic line, pound 250 keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Ron Hurst.
Okay.
West Palm traffic, yeah.
Probably realized his mistake in it.
Yeah.
So once, but hopefully it doesn't.
Football is back every NFL Sunday with
I
a
thought
$25
Fox was hopefully it wasn't
buffet plus
for like yesterday's, you know, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
KC. The paddock brings you 140 plus HDTVs, giant screens, mouth-watering food, a full bar.
What's that?
So Joe's not coming in today or anything?
No.
So I'll make sure.
Nope. Yeah, this shirt was sent to me by a listener last week. I really appreciate it. Can never have enough Hawaiian shirts and Star Wars shirts.
Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account savings and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me, and we went over everything, and I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Here we go.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Next year it'll be the big 5-0. Can't believe it. All right. Back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Steve here from Staten Island.
Hey, Steve. What's up?
I was listening in, and it's amazing how, no matter how great Trump, and he's been a fantastic president, there's always the Democrats going to nitpick, and say, oh, this is horrible, which is gosh. And he's doing everything he can for the American people.
Yeah.
And doing a great job. And yet you got these Democrats still nitpicking and trying to think anything bad about it.
Well, you know, what they're doing, I mean, listen, Democrats have always been soft on crime, right? Like, I always go back to OJ because, you know, I call OJ was the golden days of radio. It was crazy, right? So at first, when OJ did it, you know, and everything else, the callers, the liberal callers, mostly black callers, were, you know, OJ didn't do it and all this stuff, conspiracy and everything else. And then when the trial started, the calls like on a dime. I don't remember exactly what happened, but on a dime, well, yeah, he did it, but white people have been getting away with killing black people for 400 years, so 2 for 1 of ours is okay. They were like openly like it was okay to kill white. You know, what's going on now, but that died off right after the acquittal. What's going on now, like this incident with Trump yesterday with that idiot reporter from NBC. Are you going to war with Chicago? Chicago is a city under siege, okay? And to hear Democrats actively advocate for the criminals that are doing the worst things you can do, rape and murder, and all the other violent felonies, and it's insane to me. I mean, it's almost like I feel like I'm in a dream. Like, who could openly be against stopping rapes and murders?
And sadly, that's a nightmare. That's what it is. With these,
yeah.
They just cover for these killers, these murders. Oh, we're not that bad. It's a wonderful thing. Get out of here. We don't need you. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's going to backfire in their face.
Well, what Chicago is it's a failed government and it's an anarchy. It's kind of like Haiti.
Oh boy, was that for sure.
Well, you know what I mean. You know, you don't have a government at every level, from local all the way up to federal and everywhere in between. The first duty of the government is to keep its citizens safe. And in Chicago, they haven't done that. And if you can't keep your citizens safe, you have a failed government.
True.
It's an anarchy. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
No, I just want to tell you, I saw you on Newsmax, and you look great, and that suit that you had on, man, I almost didn't recognize it. I was like, wow.
Well, if you go on the cruise, you'd get to see. That's some of my cruise clothes.
great. You sounded great, and you did a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
And like some of the other callers, I think you should be on there permanently, get some sort of a position there. Anyhow, the U.S. Open. First of all, I was honored that they delayed the game waiting for President Trump. That was great. But I watched it on ABC, and ABC hardly ever show President Trump. They can't stand President Trump, I guess, so that's the way it is. And they showed him for a couple of seconds at the end in the beginning. But, even Altazar, who won, was complimenting that it was great that President Trump was there. Even though I'm not a fan of Altazar, I thought he looked like an idiot, not shaking.
And that's the Spanish guy that, well, I don't know who either of these guys were. There was the Italian and the Spanish guy. I'm watching. Again, I have not watched the U.S. Open like ever. But at the end, when the match was over, they show him sitting down with what was that? Was that pink or purple he was wearing? I forgot. Pink. He's sitting there. He's got these short, baggy shorts on. His legs are completely spread open, and he's messing around with his crotch. And I'm like, oh, are they going to move the camera? What are they doing here? It was really strange. Anything but to show. But the camera went over and showed Bruce Springsteen. He was with Sting, and Bruce Springsteen did not look happy. He did not look happy to be in the same area as the president.
With his two little earrings, I was saying, I hope he's being miserable.
Bruce Springsteen sucks. I do not like Bruce. I've never liked Bruce Springsteen, ever. He got lucky because Born in the USA, which has some racist language in it, he refers to Asians as the yellow man, okay? That sounds like a racial slur, but Mr. Lib. But he got lucky because Born in the USA, Reagan was president, and boom, you know what I mean? But he sings like he's constipated. Now Sting, who was with them, I love Sting, the Police, and then Sting, but Bruce Springsteen sucks, and he's always sucked. He's a one-hit wonder that got lucky.
No doubt about it. I was at a concert one time. I walked out. That's like, if you
Really?
sing a song, I got to get up and throw him off the stage, man. He was on way too long. But it was nice for a little while, but after that, it was like...
And I always tell people, go and listen to the lyrics of Bruce Springsteen's I'm on Fire. It is the creepiest song you've ever heard a grown man sing. It's creepy. I'm on fire. Yeah.
He's got the fame somehow, but now Sting, that nice guy, I know Sting. We played together.
You know Sting personally?
I met Sting. We played CBGBs.
What do you mean what's CBGBs?
You never heard of CBGBs? Is like the number one place in New York for bands to play.
You've played in a band with Sting?
No, not it. My band played at CBGBs with Sting at the same time.
Oh! Sting was playing on stage, and at another time you were up playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Played, and then Sting played.
When was this?
And this is in the 80s.
So this was like during the Police times?
During the Police times.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Turned out to be a nice guy, and I thought the band was great.
Sting's awesome. Bruce Springsteen sucks.
And the funny thing is, my drummer was his brother was the lead guitar player for Bob Marley. He wanted to do reggae, and I said, "Man, reggae's not for us." And then Sting comes out and
it does reggae.
Yeah, man.
Well, reggae, because of Red Red Wine by UB40, everybody was doing reggae for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sting really made it hot.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Now let me ask you. That if that was in the can you remember when in the 80s that was? Because I'm trying to. Was that the early, mid, late 80s?
It was probably the early 80s.
So that was like around the time that Sting was in Dune, because Sting's in Dune.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! Yeah. So to be around Sting's a pretty big deal when he was with the Police. A lot of people don't know how big Sting and the Police were. Although that's pretty cool. All right, see, you never know. You never know who's out there, and you're a lot of people. All right, Doug, take care. Good to talk to you. All right, take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Okay, Brian, good morning. This is Robert from Tampa.
Hey, you got to speak up. You're a little muffled.
Oh, okay. Probably because of my, okay. Are you hearing me now?
I can.
Okay, all right, good. So 2 points, okay? I have to agree with you as far as the racial motivated, as far as the stabbing, it was racially motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And another point is that all these mental excuses, okay? All these mental excuses that people come up with is all bogus.
Mm-hmm.
You feel on that? All right. So, again, of course I'm black, okay? I'm from Africa. I used to be there where when I first came into this country, I was in Maryland, and you know that's blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was radicalized, okay? So...
What do you mean? You hated Whitey? You were angry at Whitey?
Of course I did. Oh, I used to, yes. I used to.
Yeah.
You see, some of these blacks out here, they walk around with that hate. They hate. And I don't say, the Anglo-Saxon needs to keep their country. You better save your country because it is more than you think, most especially in the hood, it's more than you. They are in your Congress now. Okay, and then they're using the racist thing to break you down, to shut your, the conversation down. So, hey, I'm just got to tell you this way. I mean, where I live right now, they are moving in. They speed all over the place.
Well, Tampa is, is not my favorite town in Florida, I must say. I've never been a big fan of Tampa, and it's not, and it's you got a liberal. I remember the sheriff up there in Hillsborough put arrested a pastor for having church services during the lockdown period. So anytime, come on, you can't. I've never heard of a pastor being arrested for preaching outside of Hillsborough County.
I will tell you another thing is, of course, I work for the federal government, but I'm not going to mention. On my screensaver, I have the picture of Donald Trump there. And so anytime,
that's awesome.
Anytime I open up my computer, they will gang up on me. Oh, you Sambo. Oh, you...
Oh, my goodness. Sambo. Oh, my.
You're not even from here. Why are you hanging on to this guy? And you know what? I'm so bold, but I'm so bold.
I'm late for the break, but where are you from originally, your accent?
Originally, I'm from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I'm not in this. So, you're doing a great job, by the way. I listen to you every morning. It's just that, when all those liberals come up and try to tease you, whatever, it just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. And, I think you need to handle them very well. Just shut them down. Don't even let them even get into your nerves.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think they bother me? Are you kidding? Give me a break. I forget about them as soon as the call's over. All right, listen, I got to run, but appreciate the call from Tampa. All right, we'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
This is Steve Kane. Medicare will be confusing. That's why each year at this time we call Jimmy and I will advisors to guide us through every plan, every choice, and every call. Open enrollment is coming up running soon. Some plans are being canceled. Others pulling out of the Medicare market at the end of 2025. Call Debbie. She represents all.
Hey, it's Brian. Hey, what's going on? Is there anything new to bring up, or? Oh, okay, good. Okay, hold on. No, the Police was Sting's band before he went solo.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
We're so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Dunson, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377, or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World, Palm Beach Gardens.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Homeowners, condo associations, and HOA communities are being threatened by their insurance companies to replace their roofs or lose coverage. We perform a full evaluation of your roofs, test the conditions of the materials, suggest repairs, set maintenance schedules, and write letters to your insurance companies. We are also state of Florida general contractors, which carry a lot of weight when dealing with insurance companies. We recently had a property management company call us to evaluate 2 multi-story condo buildings. Each were in aging condition. We performed a full evaluation, built a case with focused repairs and maintenance that the roofs had up to 5 years left. The insurance companies granted the associations additional time. Homeowners, condo, and HOA associations, give me a call at 954-604-4602 to set up an evaluation so we can help you with your insurance company. That number again is 954-604-4602, or find us at laportaroofing.com. We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now,
All right, we are back, and we're going to check in with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot because our 10th annual MAGA cruise with Steve Kane and myself is coming up. Hey, Ian.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. So we're going to Antigua, the Virgin Islands. We're going to Nassau in the Bahamas. I haven't been to Nassau since I was, like, in high school. So, so I'm sure it's changed a little bit since then.
Still some really fun things to do there.
Yeah, so we're going to have a great time, and you know, Ian and I, we've been working on some things that we've never done before. In particular, on our sea days on board the ship, we're going to do things in a different way, and it's just going to be a party. But this is a really good time, Ian. You were telling me for people to make the reservation. Can you tell them about that?
Absolutely. The incentives are really good as the cruise line is trying to, pretty much sell the ship out and move forward with the activities. Our group rates are dwindling, so get in while you can, because I reserved these rates almost 2 years ago, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, and if you call Ian today and you lock in your spot, you're gonna be going for less than the other people on the ship. This is our 2019 pricing. And tell people what's included, Ian, when they book with us.
Well, if you take one of the group rates, you get the classic beverage package, coffees, teas, sodas, alcohol. You get the basic Starlink internet, which is, great for keeping in touch with people back home, and great for keeping in touch with the rest of us on board the ship, because you never know when we're going to show up at a bar or a lounge and have a great time.
Yeah. And that Starlink internet is so fast. It's amazing to me because on our last cruise last year, I guess it was the beginning of this year, we were able to. I was live streaming on YouTube from the ship, which I couldn't do with the old internet. And that the internet is very fast, very high quality, and we're just going to have a great time. I cannot believe this is our 10th year.
I know, and every year we have to make it better than the last. It's a challenge, but we always rise to the few people coming this time around.
Yeah, and not only that, there's a lot of people. Obviously, families come, couples come, but there's a lot of single people coming.
The most we've ever had, actually.
Yeah. So if you're by yourself, don't worry. You're going to have us, okay? But there are a lot of single people coming, and I'm going to give you Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot. Give him a call. Now, if you get his voicemail, leave your name and number, and Ian will call you back. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, we'll talk soon. All right, take care, take care. All right, now after the top of the hour, I'm going to get into some stuff we haven't touched on the program so far. But I wanted to, I'm going to play this once an hour probably for the whole week because the media blackout on it. When I heard this on Friday, I couldn't believe what I was hearing because it was new information. I'm just going to, what happened on Friday, Rosie O'Donnell, who is just a very mentally ill person. I mean, she's so messed up in the head. I don't know who Trump reminds her of in her life that did her wrong, but, So Rosie O'Donnell was a guest on a podcast with Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta had Rosie O'Donnell on his podcast, and she just said the worst things you could possibly imagine about President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. It was just disgusting. I couldn't believe it. And the CNN congressional correspondent went up to Mike Johnson to talk to him about it, and the Speaker of the House dropped the biggest reveal we've ever had about President Trump, ever. And one of the biggest stories about the past of any president of the United States in history. This was live on CNN Friday.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffer these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. You and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Okay. So what Mike Johnson just dropped there is that President Trump was an undercover FBI informant working with the FBI to bring Epstein to justice. And like the Ukrainian refugee murdered on the train, and that's in the news today. Well, it's not in the news that I've been talking about. It's in our news today. That the news is covering up. They're blacking this story out of the news cycle. They don't want you to know this because, and this reporter from CNN, he was at that press conference with Marjorie Taylor Greene last week with the Epstein victims. And he was asking about Trump and all this stuff and that. And you can tell just by looking at his face and body language that when Mike Johnson said this to him live on CNN, he was angry. I mean, imagine you're a news guy. You're on a global network with CNN. You get one of the biggest reveals in the history of the Epstein case, in the history of President Trump's time in the news, and a major historical story. I've never heard of a president of the United States being an undercover informant for a federal agency before, bringing a hardcore creep to justice before. And the guy is so angry that this broke while he was talking to Johnson. Because the mainstream media, they're not in the business of breaking news, they're in the business of covering up news. But this was an amazing thing. I hope we get the details on this in the future. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian.
Yep.
This is great, man. We can go back about a month and a half when Pam Bondi and got that question from the reporter talking about Epstein, and Trump interrupted her and said, "You want me to answer that? Like, why are we still talking about this? Anything he wants to do, they don't want to do." So that was the trap. I said he has a shiny object in the right hand, but his left hand was behind his back, and he let them run with this for so long. How come the people in the FBI did not leak this? Because it would have been known who leaked it, and that would be a weapon that would.
My guess is Comey and those people probably burned the records in the burn bags of Trump's informant activity.
I want to see never Trump or Steve call now and talk about the Epstein file when we know the Democrat judge didn't release it. And Trump told Pam Bondi to give them everything that he had, everything that was available to be, but he kept this one thing, and he let them go on and on. Now you got eggs on your face, since you guys talk about eggs a lot. Now you got egg on your face, knowing that he was an informant all this time. Now what do you have to say? Sorry to hear about that lady that hopefully she died quickly because, getting not knowing that it was coming, just so tragic. And once again, why can't she be the white the person, like they had George Floyd being the black person, they caused riots. This lady did not deserve that, and I hope it was swift, because I mean
Well, and you know, the media are in a big little conundrum here, because while she's white, she's in one of their victim groups because she's a Ukrainian refugee who fled Ukraine after Putin's invasion. You know, and they're still covering it up. See, you know, appreciate the call, IB. You know, see, media bias isn't just in how they cover a story. The biggest media bias is in what stories they choose to cover and which ones they choose not to cover, right? You know, and I was very surprised that even the AP had not covered this story. Now, we'll see if they correct it today, because a lot of people are talking about it. All right, listen, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. We've got a lot to cover. I'm going to go through some things I've not touched on this morning when we get back, and do some recapping, because some of these stories I've been covering today are that important. I'm telling you, it's just this poor girl on the train that the media want to cover up. They don't even want you to know what happened. We'll take our break and be right back. All righty. Hour number 3 has begun. My name's Brian. I got a few stories here I want to cover, and then I got to do some recapping and some more details on some of the ones we covered. But this one here, listen, look at this. Univision, they did a whole report. Mexican Independence Day celebrations have been canceled in Chicago. This is bizarre, and they're very upset about it at Univision. and I've got the story here, but it's in Spanish. So I'll read to you the translated version. Organizers of the Mexican Independence Day Chicago celebrations have canceled it, they say, because of Tom Homan and ICE. They're afraid ICE is going to be there to pick them all up. Now, I'm surprised that Mexican Independence Day celebrations are happening in Chicago. See, this is the thing. Okay, you heard the other day they're sending ICE into Chicago. There's so much negative stereotyping of the crime in Chicago. It's portrayed as a black thing. Not that there aren't black criminals in Chicago, but it's about 50-50 black Hispanic, 60-40, because of the illegals that are there, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't know if they would have gone to the Mexican Independence Day celebrations to do the arrest, because the illegals would have the numbers on their side there. So Tom Homan probably wasn't even thinking of doing that. But I don't know. Maybe they should go to wherever you know where would be a good place to do the raids, because they're probably on to you at Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff. But there's got to be like Mexican grocery stores in Chicago that sell like the Mexican foods that they would normally, the traditional. That's where you do the raids at, the parking lots of the Mexican grocery stores. But I want to get back to this North Carolina train stabbing. They've arrested the murderer and charged him with murder. It's just a terrible story. This is in Breitbart. You have to go to conservative alt media to get the story. The suspect behind a fatal stabbing on a North Carolina train, which left a Ukrainian woman dead, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. DeCarlos Brown Jr. was reportedly arrested and charged with first-degree murder. I hate to mispronounce her name, but she's a Ukrainian refugee. Iryana Zaruska, age 23, was stabbed in the throat while riding the Charlotte Light Rail on August 22nd, according to the local news, WBTV. Recently released video footage shows the moments leading up to and following the stabbing. In an edited video of the incident, Brown, he's the murderer, is seen sitting in a seat on the train prior to her entering the rail car, and she sat down in front of him. And she comes on and she sits down, and she was wearing like t-shirt and jeans and a hat, and she's just scrolling through her phone. Let's see here. Okay, she sat down in front of him. One clip of the video shows Brown taking out a pocket knife, unfolding it, standing up, and gearing up to attack her. He stabbed her 3 times in the throat before he walked away. The first clip shows the stabbing suspect, identified as Brown, sitting on the rail car before Zarudska boards the rail. Brown can be seen moving around in his seat and appears to be emotional. I guess he was triggered by having the white girl. The next clip shows one angle of her entering the rail car and sitting down in front of Brown. By the way, why is it a rail car and not a train? What is the difference with that? I don't know. The clip that follows is another angle showing her entering the rail car and then sitting down. About 1 minute and 30 seconds into the video, Brown can be seen taking out a pocket knife, unfolding it, standing up, and gearing up to attack her. WBTV froze the clip moments before he stabs her. In the full video, WBTV observed the attacker swing his arm and stab her 3 times in the throat before walking away. She looked visibly shocked by the attack, falling to the floor shortly after. Another clip from the video apparently shows Brown walk away from her and move through the car, with some passengers noticing blood dripping from him. He was ordered to remain in jail and undergo a competency evaluation, according to local news. In a response to the Charlotte area transit system releasing video footage of the incident, the Charlotte mayor thanked media partners and community members for not sharing or reposting the footage out of respect for her family. Now, you don't need to see it. I haven't seen the full video. I'm not going to watch that. The mayor said the video of the heartbreaking attack that took her life is now public. I'm saying her and not her name because I don't want to mispronounce it too many more times. If the media covered it, I would know how to pronounce her Ukrainian name because they would be reporting it. It's just a terrible story. And I have no doubt in my mind, I saw the video when she walks on the train and then she sits down in front of him, and then I stopped. I don't want to watch. And you see him before, and he looks almost normal, like a guy you'd see on public transportation. He's in his seat, leaning up against the window. And then when she gets there, I think it was 100% racially motivated. 100%. It wasn't a robbery, and it wasn't a sexual assault. He just wanted to kill that white girl, is what it looked like to me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
JJ, it's just a very disturbing story, this North Carolina girl. And you were talking about, it's horrific. I mean, it's mind-numbing. When I first saw it, they weren't showing the whole video, thank God, but I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and then I saw a video of this guy with, like, blood drip, and I'm like, oh, my God. He killed that person. It's just, it was horrific. And the lie by omission, the media by omission that you were just talking about, and law, quite frankly, law by omission. You look at the media by omission, they're not covering this story, and they're not covering the story about, Trump being the FBI informant, or they just don't cover anything that might be good. They only cover things, if it bleeds, it leads. And we've got the FBI by omission. They, find, bury and incinerate information, or they just stop investigations. And we know this for a fact because of all the information that's coming out. And the Democrat, it's sort of, crime is a business for them. It's a grift. It's extortion. It's like Al Sharpton, pay me or donate.
Well, if Steve's not here today, he would know which Woody Allen movie this was. I want to say Annie Hall. But there's a scene in a Woody Allen movie, I'm pretty sure it's Annie Hall. If anybody knows either way, let me know. Where it's like a flashback, Woody Allen's character of his parents, and the mom finds out that their maid, who's black, stole $20 out of her purse. And Woody Allen's mother says to the dad, "We got to fire her." And she says, "Fire her? She's black. Where else is she going to steal from?" So liberals, yeah, I know. I think liberals in general, it's a little more detailed than that, but you can look at it. I'm pretty sure it's Annie Hall. Liberals feel that, and this is crazy, that black people are entitled to do crime.
Yeah, well, it's like law spare. There's law fair, but then there's law spare. With Al Sharpton, you pay the VIG. It's sort of like you get a handicapped parking sticker. You don't go after the Democrats for whatever the psychological insanity. But to me, Brian, I look at it is that it's a business for them. Okay, that the homeless is a business.
Well, when you say, what do you mean? What do you mean? How's crime a business when their own people are being terrorized?
Well, crime is a business because, in Chicago, they're being terrorized in a particular area, but they're not being terrorized in the good area. Okay, it's a business in the sense of lawyers. It's a machine, like the homeless. I think you agree that the homeless is a business in California. They don't solve the problem. They might put $100 million into something. Look what happened in New York City with De Blasio. He gives his wife X amount of money.
Yeah.
Filter. It's another filter. They don't care about the crime because it's happening. They keep it contained, and then they use that to vig the money through, to get the money won.
It's a grift. It's a grift. It's a grift to steal money. Yeah.
Party.
Yeah.
Crap about the lives of these people because they try to make it look like they care.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just it's a sleight of hand. Freaking magic.
It is. All right, well, I appreciate the call. All right, you take care. We're going to take our break, and when we get back, we'll take some more calls. But, what's going to happen is Trump's going to rid these blue cities of crime, and we're going to turn them red. These blue cities, they're going to be, not in one, it'll take a couple of election cycles. But we could come back by the time the presidential election comes around, the next one, and find that Illinois is a red state. Illinois could go Republican in the next presidential election after Trump cleans up Chicago. Here it is Monday morning. If you're waking up this Monday in pain because you're a little more active over the weekend, right? US Open, maybe playing some tennis, some pickleball or something, go see Dr. Appleton. You know, his laser away pain treatment, it works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. You know, if you've been in a car accident as a driver or a passenger, maybe you're in a ride share, right, Uber, Lyft, and you have pains related to a car accident, the laser treatment works on those pains as well. You know, with the laser treatment with Dr. Appleton, there's no shots, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Not only is it 100% painless, you don't even feel it when it's happening, right? And it's very easy too. When I go in for laser treatment, I keep my iPhone with me. I just read the news or whatever I would normally do on my phone while I'm having the treatment. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call. If you have scans or x-rays, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
Sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
Don't you hate it when you buy something online and then you get slapped with a huge shipping charge at checkout? Not at MyPillow.com. Right now, enjoy free shipping on all orders $100 or more when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at MyPillow.com. This is your chance to stock up on unbeatable deals on everything site-wide. Soft sheets, cozy slippers, plush bathrobes, mattresses, mattress toppers, headbeds. It's free shipping on all orders $100 or more. Order now at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, for free shipping.
This is Steve Kane. Medicare can be confusing. That's why each year at this time, we call Debbie and I Will Advisors to guide us through every plan, every choice, and every call. Open enrollment is coming up really soon. Some plans are being canceled. Others pulling out of the Medicare market at the end of 2025. Call Debbie. She represents all the major national companies. The number 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080. Tell her Steve Kane sent you.
Hey, Mike? Oh, never mind. All right, we're back. President Trump did something over the weekend that was so cool. Did you see this image he put himself that he did? I guess it was an AI-generated image of taking Robert Duvall from Apocalypse Now and turning it into Trump. And one of the most famous lines in movie history, I love the smell of napalm in the morning, Robert Duvall. And it's that image, President Trump, I don't know if he found it or had his people create it on AI, and instead of Apocalypse Now, it says Chicapolis or whatever, and he wrote this. He posted the photo on Truth Social. President Trump said this: "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War." So this was an interesting thing because there were some mass deportations in Boston over the weekend. And what I'm wondering is, was this whole thing with the Apocalypse Now and everything, was it a misdirection? Was it a tactical move? Have everyone looking at Chicago while we go into Boston and in Georgia, obviously. I don't know, but it was pretty smart. Pretty smart move. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. It's funny. Captain Bone Spurs. I don't know who that is. Could you tell me? Were you? Where were you? What'd you do in Vietnam? I don't know. I wasn't even alive yet. You weren't alive yet. I'll tell you what, I am a veteran. Yeah. Yeah. What did you do in Iraq? What did you do in the service? I was a UAV pilot. What's a UAV? What's a Hey, listen, you say that you're a veteran, you were in the war and everything else. You should be a little tougher than this. You sound a little hysterical there. So you mean to So you mean to tell me? You said no. I take that back. I withdraw my. You don't sound hysterical. You sound like a madman. It's hard to believe you had that helicopter you flew. Was it armed? Oh, good. I wouldn't trust you with an armed air vehicle. I mean, you sound like a madman. But you were in Iraq. So you mean to tell me this is an interesting thing? What did you fly? What did you fly again? You flew model airplanes over Iraq? You flew model airplanes over Iraq, like those guys at Meisner Park, remote control airplanes? You said unmanned. You said unmanned. So where were you at? Where were you located? Where? Where's that? Are you trolling me? Are you like a MAGA guy trying to make liberals look stupid? So wait a minute. You began by saying you're a veteran of Iraq, but you were where? Where was your base located? Were you in the United States? Where? What country? Yeah, I'm in the United States. When you were flying these toy aircraft, the remote control planes over Iraq, where were you physically? It is the point. It is the point. No. You were trying to pass yourself off as some combat veteran, but you flew toy planes. I didn't fly toy planes. Well, where were you located when you were playing this video game, flying this plane over Iraq? Where were you physically? Camp Liberty. Where's the Camp Liberty? Where's Camp Liberty? Where's Camp Liberty? Don't you know? You were there. You were there. Don't you know where Camp Liberty was? You Googling. Where's Camp Liberty? Baghdad? Camp Liberty's in Baghdad? Okay, so you're in a room. So you're in a room playing video games, and you're trying to pass yourself off as some combat pilot. Let me ask you this. No, you were implying. Well, listen. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your video game service. Well, this is what I know. He is above all the generals. He is the commander-in-chief. He's above them all. He didn't dodge the draft. He didn't dodge the draft. You mean to tell me that people with bone spurs are welcome in the army to march? Bone spurs have nothing to do with your masculinity. You either have them or you don't. But I know that, you know, my father is a Marine, right? He was in Vietnam. He still has foot problems today from the problems he had in Vietnam. He got jungle rot in his feet and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Feet are important. If you're now, I know when you're playing Call of Duty all day and patting yourself on the back for your heroics as a Call of Duty game player, maybe you don't understand that. Yeah, I know what it is. It's basically Call of Duty. You're a video game guy. Let me tell you, now I know why the war in Iraq went on so long. Look at who's been in our military. People like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. How long? So what kind of aircraft did you fly remotely? What was your call? A Shadow. What type? I mean, like what type of aircraft is that? So did you wear like a VR handset? Like a VR headset? Did you wear a VR headset? Let me ask you. This is what I'm really concerned about. I'm very interested in this. As a video game warrior, do you go to the VA hospital for treatment on your thumbs for using those remote controls? Do you have like any thumb related injuries from the remote controls from the video game controller? I'm not putting down. Excuse me. No, you No. You misunderstand. No. I'm not putting down. I'm not putting down veterans. I'm putting you down. Because you called in trying to sound like you were Rambo or Tom Cruise in Top Gun, and basically you play Call of Duty. You should have said you played video games. You should have said, I played video games. That's what you did. Well, you did something diminishing. Mm-hmm. Okay. I still think, Mike, do you think this guy's like a Republican trying to make Democrats look stupid? I feel like you're trolling me. Are you sure you're not a MAGA guy trying to make liberal Democrats look weak and dumb? I just wonder, like when you go to the VA, is there like a whole wing of you Call of Duty players that have like your thumbs bandaged and everything else from the blisters? Tell me about the dangers. Tell me about the dangers of playing video games. Oh, you prevent danger. We do. Yes. I know this. Between you and Donald Trump, only one of you got shot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he got shot. Yeah, he got shot. He got shot. He got shot. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure he got shot. Yeah, he did. He got shot. You've got sore thumbs. He got shot standing up for this country. You've got sore thumbs. You've got carpal tunnel. I don't want to know what you play. Believe me, I don't want to know what you've played with. I promise you that. Take care. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Today there will be a chance of thunderstorms and then heavy rain with a high of 86 degrees. Into the evening, heavy rain and then a chance of thunderstorms with a low of 79 degrees. On Tuesday, a chance of thunderstorms and then thunderstorms with a high of 86 degrees. Tuesday night, thunderstorms and then showers likely with a low of 78 degrees.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
On I-95 northbound at Palmetto Park Road, there's crash blocking 2 center lanes. On the turnpike northbound, a crash about a mile south of Lakewood Road has moved to shoulder. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line. Down 250 Keyburg westbound traffic on Rogers.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's a great week to visit PBKC with poker, table games, exceptional eats, and super OTB action. Feasted Football is back every NFL Sunday with a $25 all-you-can-eat buffet plus 1 draft beer or get it free. Place a $25 or more live bet on the Hard Rock Bet app at PBKC. The Paddock brings you 140 plus HD TVs, giant screens, mouth-watering food, a full bar, and service that makes you feel like a winner. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. It's where you feel safe, relaxed, and protected. But what if something were to happen? What if your family was in danger? At Sloman's Home Security, we understand that you want to feel secure in your own home. That's why we're dedicated to providing top-notch security systems and services to keep you and your loved ones safe. From 24/7 monitoring to cameras and motion sensors, our state-of-the-art technology helps you stay ahead of potential threats. Rest easy knowing you're protected by Sloman's Home Security. Imagine coming home to everything just as you left it. Imagine knowing that your family is safe and secure thanks to Sloman's Home Security. Don't just imagine it, make it a reality. Contact Sloman's Home Security today, right here in Florida, to schedule your free consultation and take the first step towards a safer, more secure tomorrow. Sloman's Home Security, protecting what matters most. Sloman's Home Security. Call 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. Or visit our website at slomans.com. Don't wait. Get the peace of mind you deserve today.
When you're in lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now or Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. Your prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now or Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now or Boca at any lab test now at Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right, let me know what you guys think. That the Call of Duty guy that I just talked to, was he for real, or was he pulling my leg? I'm really not sure with that guy. And I got a pretty good ear for these guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, so I would like to tell General Stolen Valor there that he needs to drop the whole bone spur thing with Trump, because you know what? It doesn't make a difference how old you are or where you serve this country. It just depends on how and when you serve it. So, this guy, he obviously didn't have the answers. He skipped through trying to answer your questions to make himself look good. I don't believe he was in the military. And you know what? Trump has done more for this country than a lot of people.
Well, I've dealt with stolen valor callers over the years, but I've yet to meet one whose stolen valor claim was that they played video games. That's why I'm wondering. Do you think he was was he for real? Was he for real?
They did use UAVs in the Iraqi war. All right, they did use them, but you can tell by the way this guy talked that he was stumbling. He would have had the answers right off the tip of his tongue for what you were asking him, and you can tell he's a stolen valor person.
But who does stolen valor and claims to have flown remote-controlled toy aircraft? Who steals that? Why isn't this story? That's a bizarre.
A video game person, because they
A video game person. A soy boy.
Video game. So he's just going off of what he does on his.
I see.
Game chair.
Oh my goodness, his game chair.
Yep. And it just I'm tired of hearing these people go on about Trump not going in. My brother served in the Gulf War. All right, he almost didn't make it into the Marine Corps. His battalion was the first one into Kuwait. All right, and he almost didn't make it in because he had flat feet. But he begged them, and he went through all kinds of tests to prove that it was not going to his service. So yes, they absolutely do deny people with feet problems.
Well, and another thing, this is what I don't get from the Democrats, okay? Dodging the draft in Vietnam was one of the most honorable things you could do as a Democrat, right? They burning their cards, the draft cards, that President Carter pardoned all the draft dodgers that fled to Canada. They returned home like the American hostages held by Iran. But now all of a sudden, and they were baby killers. They were spitting on them. They would. This is so true that this would happen. They would go up to people in uniform and say, "Did you kill a kid today?" And all this crap. Now all of a sudden, the highest form of honor and distinction, according to liberals, is having served as a baby killer in Vietnam, using their words. I mean, in Vietnam, of all things, it's very bizarre. I think you're right. I think that guy is a loser gamer soy boy, and he's got one of those flying simulation games, and he's turned that into.
Yeah, because they make them so realistic anymore. So he knows he knows enough about them to sound like he knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't know anything.
I got to tell you something. If you're a single guy in your 20s and 30s, there's no reason for you to have the hottest girlfriend there is, because the guys that the women have to choose from today are pathetic.
Oh, it is. I had a babysitter when I was raising my children, and she was a smart young lady. She wound up, growing up, marrying a guy, and within 5 years they were divorced because all he wanted to do was sit home while she went out and made money. So he
So he could play his video games.
So, yeah. So and you find a lot of those out there where my daughter's husband, sister, and brother-in-law, all they do is sit in their house. They have no interest in having a family, nothing.
Well, it could be worse. They could spend their days not playing video games, but in porn and OnlyFans and stuff.
This is true. But still, you know what? You get off the video games. You're an adult now. Take some responsibility in life and do something with yourself. Sitting and playing video games. You'll have plenty of time to sit and play video games with your children as they grow up and want to start playing.
That's right.
Play with them.
That's right.
Go out and to get a job and do something useful.
All right, appreciate the call. You know, it's an interesting thing because I think that that lady is onto something with that guy, that he was doing stolen valor and he's a gamer. And, you know, that's the kind of guy that is the dad at the baseball. Was that at the Marlins game, Mike, that game? That's the kind of guy that gives the baseball to the lesbian woman who's screaming at him, right? A wimpy man, soy boy. All right, now, I wanted to share this because we're not going to have too many times to play this guy again because he's retiring. Jerry Nadler, who, you know, Jerry Nadler, he always looks like the Danny DeVito penguin from Batman to me. And he's talking about President Trump fighting crime, a real-life Batman. Listen, this is Nadler on MSNBC.
What parts of the Constitution in particular, do you think are most in need of affecting?
Well, a number of them. One is civil liberties. The way they're going after immigrants, or the constitutional spending power, the way they're refusing to spend money despite the Anti-Impoundment Act of 1974. They're subverting the entire role of Congress. And now this newest outrage, where they just bombed a speedboat, which they asserted was carrying terrorists. So you're the judge, jury, and executioner when you're not in a time of war. For that, the president ought to face criminal charges.
Okay, Trump should face criminal charges. Okay. Now, a couple things there. One of them is this. You hear all these Democrats defending the Constitution. I've heard my entire life this about Democrats, right? The Constitution was written by white racist slaveholders for the purpose of maintaining white supremacy. I've heard that so many times I got it memorized. Even Obama used to talk about this. He said the problem with the Constitution is it's filled with negative liberties, what the government can't do to you. The Constitution doesn't tell you what the government should do for you. Obama used to talk about this all the time. Now, all of a sudden, it's a holy document that should be followed to the letter, unless, of course, you're talking about the Second Amendment of the Constitution. They don't talk about that. So that's number one. The other thing about this, okay, they are so flipped out over taking out that drug trafficking speedboat out in the Atlantic. Those guys, they didn't even know what hit them, bringing deadly drugs into the country. And President Trump, they had asked him over the weekend if we were going to go in and take out the cartels in Venezuela, and he indicated yes. There's been something that has not been mentioned once in all this criticism, and they're leaving this out because everything they do in the media is to make Trump look bad. They wanted to portray him as a criminal who's a complete outlaw, who's tearing up the Constitution. How dare he take military action against these drug traffickers? President Bush 41, H.W. Bush, Bush 1, G.W.'s father, Ronald Reagan's vice president, whatever you want to call him. When George H.W. Bush was president, we invaded, conquered, and took over all of Panama because Noriega was a drug trafficker, and they arrested him for trafficking drugs, and they captured him, the military, and he went on trial in federal court later in Miami. It went on, it seemed like, for years. Noriega, was he going to be treated as a POW? He was in court in uniform, and then they took off his rank. And it was a big thing. Any of you remember that? That entire Panama invasion was to stop the flow of drugs that Noriega was bringing here through Panama from Castro and the cartels and everything else. And it blows my mind that, I don't know, we're about a week, close to a week, since they took out that drug boat. I haven't heard anyone in any of the media, conservative or liberal, reference it once. And that shows you the legal precedent that presidents, and he didn't go to Congress and ask for a declaration of war. that gives you a legal precedent that presidents have the power and authority to use the United States military in the war on drugs, because George Bush 41 did it when we took over Panama, and that was a big operation going into Panama. It was an old-fashioned invasion like in the Second World War. I remember watching it on TV. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret and all this weight I've lost and how it's changed my life. One of this is an incredible benefit that has been so life-changing is not just losing all the weight and looking great, that my belly's gone, I got a flat stomach, I weighed what I weighed 29 years ago when I married my wife, and I look great and all that. But health-wise, I was not expecting this. But my blood pressure is so normal that it's amazing. I was talking about this last week. When I would get off the air, if you took my blood pressure, it'd be through the roof. Even though I didn't have blood pressure problems, it'd be through the roof, because you see what I'm dealing with, like the Call of Duty guy there, And I don't know, I guess it's been about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I took my blood pressure when I got off the air, and not only was my blood pressure normal, it was lower than my normal. I was in shock. That's never happened before. I've taken my blood pressure so many times. I remember I was at Game Day Men's Health. Right after the show, they took my blood pressure, and they're like, Brian, what's going on? And I said, well, I just got off the air. I said, let me hang out. Let's take it like in 20 minutes, and then it's fine. My blood pressure would be through the roof when I got off the air. And it's normal and even better than my normal. And it's because I've lost all this weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Give them a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. My weight loss results are typical. Okay? 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. We'll be right back.
Hard
work today?
Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance.
Was it the same line you called in on last week?
I actually don't know. I think I had to use second because the other ones are full.
Yeah. Okay.
But still, I remember clicking all different ones.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that one line.
Okay.
So, no, but that, it rung and hit me.
Maybe you had the phone on Do Not Disturb.
30 years
Yeah.
in the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals starting the week?
Starting off with a bang, as they ended last week the same way, up almost every single day last week, with the exception, I think, of one day. Hardly giving anybody a buying opportunity, but the metals are going higher, as we've been saying. And 3,600 is well into the numbers now and heading to that predicted $3,700 number that we talked about a few months ago. Right now, Friday gold closed out at $3,585.30, which was up $40.70 after trading as high as $3,601. Silver closed out the week at $40.93, up 35 cents. Platinum was down $1 at $1,373. And palladium was down $13 to $1,107. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $35.78 on the low, all the way up to $3,622 the ounce. Right now, we're at $36.19, up $33.70. Silver up 37 cents at $41.30 the ounce. Platinum up $12 at $1,300 $185, and palladium up $28 at $11.35. So the markets are loving the anticipated lower interest rates from the Fed this year, and it's looking like we're going to get that 3,700 sooner than I.
That's amazing. And, you know, of course, at William Youngerman's, all the metals are available for immediate delivery. With gold being so hot now, is everything available? Are there any shortages you're seeing?
No, we're still in good supply of all of the products. So, that being said, you can still buy just about anything you want at a very good and in some cases very reduced.
Yeah, this is amazing.
And the markets definitely are poised to go much higher.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and because another thing is because people, a lot of people are probably getting into gold for the first time now because they're saying, wow, it's really taken off, so it's in the news a little bit more. You know, and I'll tell you. All right, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, which is on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give them a call. And remember, you can do all of your transactions over the phone and through the mail if you can't make it in, no matter where you're located. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. Oh, my goodness, almost $3,700 right around the corner. And that'll be a big day of celebration on the program. I wanted to play this. This just blows my mind. Jen Psaki, who is really a monstrous woman. She's the one that was mocking prayer after the Minneapolis shooting. She has the governor of Illinois on, and the governor of Illinois, he's very upset that Trump's going to rid Chicago of crime. And she did a sit-down with him, and the graphic, I'm going to play a clip of this. The graphic on the screen says, Chicago bracing for troop deployment and ICE crackdown. Troop deployment and ICE crackdown. I mean, come on. If you've got a mayor, a governor, a city councilman, or whatever, if you've got anyone in your local government, and you're in a place where there's lots of crime, and someone is sending in help from the federal government, and they're trying to stop that, that's got to be a very frightening thing to you when you live in these cities. And since when are liberals against the federal government coming in to help do anything? The left want the federal government involved in everything, except when it comes to ridding a city of crime. But this clip here, this is the Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, talking to Jen Psaki. Listen to this line of BS. Oh, no, I hit wrong pot. Hold on, then. It's this one. Okay, here we go. Let me rewind it.
To have that as a place where federal troops are. Do you have any sense even of the scope of the ICE operations that they're planning?
Not from ICE. We're getting, again, it's all secondhand, third-hand. There are a lot of patriotic Americans who work in the administration or work at the departments or in the military who have let us know things without, having permission to do so.
Okay, so this is, now again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not, I don't know, did he just, these operations with ICE, these are classified top secret operations. They're completely classified. So is the governor of Illinois telling Jen Psaki on national television that there are people in the military that are giving classified information? Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that what they broke into Mar-a-Lago supposedly for, was for classified documents? So if it was a crime for Trump, which it wasn't, from their viewpoint, to have classified intel, what about the governor of Illinois? He is in the possession of classified information on military and federal actions by federal law enforcement that have not yet taken place in Chicago. So is he not committing a crime? I'll rewind it and play the whole thing in a minute. Also, he says that they're getting information. See, if Jen Psaki, she doesn't think to ask these questions, right? Not that if she did, she would ask them. there are people inside the military who are leaking information to him and inside the administration? Isn't that what Snowden did? Leaking classified information? Who was that private, that Manning, that gave all that information to WikiLeaks? Isn't that why Julian Assange went to prison? I just saw an interview. It's a weird thing. I saw an interview. It was from a few years ago. Remember the movie The Falcon and the Snowman? Based on a true story. I saw an interview with the real-life guy, the Falcon guy from The Falcon and the Snowman, who went to prison for 25 years, 10 of them in solitary confinement, for doing what the governor of Illinois just confessed to Jen Psaki. Getting and distributing classified information from the federal government. So the governor of Illinois here has confessed to, it seems to me, now, again, I'm not a lawyer, maybe Mark Levin will pick up on this, I don't know. Maybe on Fox, Turley can analyze this. But it sounds to me like the governor of Illinois is confessing that he is involved in some type of espionage operation. I mean, I'll play the whole thing here uninterrupted.
As a place where federal troops are, do you have any sense even of the scope of the ICE operation they're planning?
Not from ICE. We're getting, again, it's all second-hand, third-hand. There are a lot of patriotic Americans who work in the administration or work at the departments or in the military who have let us know things without, having permission to do so. And so I would call some of that rumor, but, well-sourced rumors.
Okay, yeah. So he's confessing to being involved in an espionage operation with multiple people in multiple agencies and departments of the federal government. Right? And who's this we, and who are they talking to? There have been two, there was a time when there were two Illinois governors in prison at the same time. Maybe he'll be next to be in federal lockup. Blagojevich, and who was the other one? Blagojevich was on The Celebrity Apprentice. Who was the other Illinois governor that was in prison? And him and Blagojevich were in prison at the same time, I remember. And now we got Pritzker here, confessing to espionage about future military operations and federal law enforcement operations through ICE. Oh my goodness. What an idiot. First off, to do it, but to go on television and confess it? See, this is another example. And by the way, another thing I'll just point out. So he's involved, here's what he's saying. He is involved in an espionage operation to do what? Interrupt government business. Well, isn't that not an insurrection? All these people are talking about insurrection. And the Trump derangement syndrome is so deep in the bones of Jen Psaki's red hair that she doesn't realize what just happened on her air. And was that live? That was not live. How many people did that have to go through after it was recorded to make it to air? And all these people at MSNBC, no one said, well, wait a minute. The governor's confessing that he's involved in an espionage operation. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, pick him up. Bring him in for questioning. Get his phone. Find out who he's communicating with. Oh, my goodness. I want to talk about the new Sloman's Shield Link. This is an all-in-one ecosystem that integrates your phone with the Sloman's Shield. Listen to this. Sloman's Shield Link takes all your everyday routines and actions based on your preferences and connects other devices around the house, right? You turns your lights on and off when you want them on and off. Turns your music on to whatever music you want, right? Whatever's in your playlist that you listen most of the time, on and off. TV comes on when you walk in the house at night. The Shield Link can act on almost any scenario. It creates scenes based on what you want to happen. Whether you want your thermostat turned down, your alarm turned on, your doors locked, your security lighting on. It does all that stuff and a whole bunch more. Slomin's is including installation for all of your devices. They offer 24/7 support. Give them a call. The number is not that one, Mike. Oh, boy. I had the same thing happen on the show Friday. I have the wrong number on my copy. Let me see here. We got time. I'll find it because I got all kinds of copy here. But that's the wrong number on my copy. I don't want to give out the wrong number. Oh, boy. Yes. Okay, here it is. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Give them a call, all right? Someone will take good care of you. Oh, my goodness. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be back tomorrow. But what do you think? The governor of Illinois, think he's in some trouble there. Oh, man. Maybe I'll send that to Laura Loomer, and she'll make sure that the president... I'm sure the president has some questions for the governor of Illinois and his espionage operation that he's bragging to Jen Psaki about. All right, guys, Monday is here. I can't believe it. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, guys, listen, thanks for watching. I got to clear out of here. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Take care.